Good morning, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I wanted to talk about Alfred and Talia. Well, as you would expect, there's been a lot of comments finally, via email and messenger and so on. And apparently we do have, at least in part, our comments back, so we're very pleased about that. But I wanted to talk about Alfred and Talia because people, I'm still amazed at how people make such quick judgments about other people that they've never met, and they do it from all kinds of different frames of reference, which I never quite understand how they don't see that they have a different frame of reference. For instance, someone, as I've said this before many times, someone who is going to start a project of building a cabinet or a piece of furniture or a carport, depending on where they live, it will be a different project. Now, if you live a mile down the road from Home Depot or Wix or one of those other huge supply depots, is that the same project as someone who lives out on Bohol who's going to build this carport out of all natural materials? And I mean, when I mean natural materials, I mean he's going to go out and he's going to find young trees and he's going to cut them down and then he's going to nail them together. Something that you would never think of doing if you were living in Florida or, I don't know, Detroit. So the way that you look at things is automatically tied, it's all automatically linked to what your frame of reference is. Now, some people have said, well, I think that Talia could do better with a foreigner than Alfred. Let me tell you something about Alfred. Alfred is a super intelligent guy. He's actually a good fella. He's pleasant company. He's not a freeloader. He doesn't expect anything for nothing. He expects to chip in on everything. He wants to help. He is determined to find someone that he can spend a happy, simple life with. Out of all the expats that I've ever met, probably including myself, sometimes I do meet myself, he has the most simple philosophy. He said, I'm not looking for the most beautiful woman in the world. I'm looking for someone who is willing to live a happy, simple life with me. Now, what does he have to offer? Well, for one thing, he's 63, and today is his birthday. He's 63 years old today. Now, people have compared Alfred to me and said, well, look at Terence, he's 79 years old, you know. It depends once again on the life you've lived and the life you are living. Now, for me, I was the most boring guy on the block. I didn't have a huge number of friends because I didn't drink and I didn't do drugs. I always had some fear, if you like to call it a healthy fear. What do I think of as a healthy fear? Well, you don't go around sticking screwdrivers into a live electrical socket, do you? That's called a healthy fear. If you have I don't know, if you have an aversion or a fear of heights, you don't go climbing on roofs and fixing roofs for a job. So it just depends on your frame of reference. Now, for me, I always had a healthy fear of drugs, of being addicted, because I was a musician. And what I saw in musicians who were drinkers was, sure, they had a great time. Well, they think they had, but usually they were not having such a great time as they thought. And when they went home at night, they took their life in their hands, and they took other people's lives in their hands by driving. But I was the one that was a little bit wacky. Now, when I first joined the one band, the last big band that I was in, and I was asked to, do you want to come and have a drink? We'd get to a gig, and we'd go, and we'd get ready to go on stage, and we'd go to the bar. Well, my idea of going to the bar was to buy a Coca-Cola. Now I know it's not healthy, okay, but I'd have a soft drink. I made the mistake back then of saying to guys who invited me to go for a drink, well, I don't drink, but I'll come and watch. Well, people who drink don't want other people to be watching them. And so I used to watch the rest of the band slowly, not all of them, right? But let's say 50% of the band would get a really, quite a skinful, and then they would think, because they had a buzz on, that they were playing better. No, they were the only ones who thought that they were playing better. For me, so many of the experiences and decisions I made in life were based on the accounts that were written by successful people, successful in various ways. Some of them were very successful at destroying their own lives. And I read their story. I read the story of Bud Powell. That was the book. Not that he made a bigger mess of his life than everybody else, or that he was more successful, but he was a great jazz piano player. And he was, dare I say, he was a black guy. I guess I should be saying he was African American. Well, okay, well, he was a black guy, and a fabulous musician, a talented musician, and addicted in a way which killed him eventually. Now, some of the musicians that I admire the most died or killed themselves as a result, whether direct or indirect, of changes that took place up here by being addicted. So, was I going to travel that path? No. I was afraid of doing that, and so I didn't. And because of that, no one ever invited me out for a drink. If the guys were going out for a drink, are they going to invite that fella who doesn't drink? What is he going to do, stand there and watch us get drunk? That's what I would be doing. And actually, I grew to have an aversion of people who were drinking heavily, because they became two people, and one of them I didn't recognize. So, the frame of reference is really, really important. Now, what do we have in Alfred? Super intelligent guy, very educated guy, studied English. He's also studied Latin and Greek. Now, if you could see, I wish that he had video of the house that he built in Thailand. He did every single thing. He did all of the block work, and he did it single-handed, and it took him about 2 years. He worked on it every day diligently. He had his own tractor, which he still has. The man is multi-talented, but he is tall. Well, he's German. I guess so many of the Germans I've met are super intelligent, have a great education, and are very hands-on people. I think of them as the leading engineers. Chinese are taken over in this way right now, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, but that's another video. So he brings a lot to the table. Now, when it's just the two of us, Alfred and I, talking, the way that he explains what his needs are right now makes so much sense to me. And he's now, he mentioned seeing a woman on the video. It turned out that the woman was not Talia, but Talia is here. She is single and available. So he said, why don't you meet her, right? Now, is it important for me that either him or her meet each other? No, it's not actually, because I can step aside and let people make their own decisions about their own lives.